So, Wrestle Chat TV, joining you again, and today we're going to talk about the Roman Reigns problem.
Yeah, got Mr. Reigns is in the spotlight today, and what me and John thought we'd do, basically, is have a chat about not the faults and the obvious heat that this guy's got, and how much dissing he gets, which we're in agree with a lot of it. What we're going to do is today, we're going to have a look at maybe some of the solutions, aren't we?
Yeah, because a lot of people have obviously got, he's got no talent, he hasn't changed his physique, his outfit, his music. A lot of people still see him as the Shield, really. Even, in that kind of, he's not moved on, has he? No. But, like you say, no one's actually said, well, what can we do about that?
We all hate him so much. We don't think he deserves this chance. He's being pushed down our throats, but what would you do with him? What would you guys do with him who are watching this? Tell us in the comments, because we're going to tell you now. We've been discussing a few ideas of what we'd do with Mr. Reigns, and just from a personal perspective, very small things is change the guy's outfit. I mean, when he was in the Shield with the three of them, you can get away with it. The other two moved on. Change their outfit, man. Give him a different look. Cut his hair.
It's the music. Yeah, that's
surely
that's true and relevant. But for me, it's got to start with the music, because it's very. As anyone watching and watches wrestling, the music's very personal. As soon as it's not the guy. Like if there's a big heel moment or there's a big moment in the match, say the music's the thing that gets your adrenaline.
But don't forget, as soon as that,
yeah,
he gets the heat. He gets it. It's got the intro's alright, but he gets that heat because he's hated so much, not because he's trying to be a heel or he's decent bad guy. It's because people are like, as soon as he goes, oh shit, because people are done with him because they're bored of him. And they don't think he can work. But what we're trying to do today is what can we do to help him? Now, by the looks of it, John's just catching up on a few things in terms of where the show's going, and Raw's got Fastlane in about a week or two, and it's looking like they're going to do Roman versus Braun Strowman. So we're thinking that basically, whether it's a long-term plan or a short-term plan, they should turn this guy heel. But if he's going to be fighting Strowman in the short term, he's not going to be going heel anytime soon by the looks of it, is he? Because Braun's the monster heel. Whether you've seen that or you've caught up.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I do know he's the monster heel, but he's over as well, isn't he?
He is over. We can talk about Braun a different day. I got a lot of love for Braun. I think he's good. He moves well for a big guy. Moves well for a big guy. He can talk. He looks the part. Yeah, I dig Braun, but if he's going to be fighting Roman.
I think that's the key though with Braun as well, because he doesn't have a lot of moves himself, but he's got a presence. It's like when John came into the business, he even said himself he didn't have Dean Malenko's move list, but he had a presence. I watched the Rumble like everybody else, and I was watching him with my cousin, and I noticed the only moves he had was a spear and a Superman punch. Spear, Superman punch. I think he had one moment where there was a headlock.
I think the only other cool thing he does well is maybe, just to give him a little bit of credit here, because we are trying to be subjective in terms of, we don't want to hate on him loads too much, but the only other thing I would say he does is off the ropes, running the flip over the rope.
No, I just think maybe integrate a few more moves into his repertoire, but then, like we say, he's not the greatest on the mic. Would he do well with a speaker? A Heyman guy?
Yeah. Well, in a nutshell, what we think he needs to do is that, like, the comparison that John's just used there about John Cena, which we will be talking about John on another video again, on why we think he's where he's at, and a lot of heat that John gets. But basically, like John just said then, Cena's got presence. When John Cena and The Rock and Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan walk into a room, they don't say anything. You stop, you look, and you listen.
Hunter.
Triple H is another dude, yeah. When Roman, they want that for Roman Reigns. The problem is, he hasn't got that. So what do we do? What do we need to do to give him that? We know that you can't just give them it. You've either got it or you've not. But these little things that we're talking about here to help him is, I think his physique needs a little bit work. And that isn't a knock, but from a bodybuilding perspective, we're very much into fitness, and I do a lot of bodybuilding and stuff, and I don't think his physique's good enough. I don't. And people will say, oh, well, the age of the big guys is out. Look at AJ, look at other guys.
Yeah, it is out. You're right, it is out. But he's supposed to be a big guy. He's billed as the big dog, and he's not, is he?
And I'm not saying that everybody in the company is clean. We know who's using and who's not using. We're not telling him to cheat here. But what we're saying is maybe just have a little bit closer look at his diet. It's hard on the road. It is hard. I've seen him a little bit bigger in NXT than this, when he had his top off.
Yeah.
But like we're saying, did he feel as though he needs to stay in this Shield outfit because he's not got a good enough physique? Because I look at the dude's arms, and I think he's going to be lucky if they're passing for 15, 16 inches.
Let's be honest though, gear or not, they've got the best fitness coaches, they've got the best nutrition available, Yeah,
you've got Rob McIntyre. If any of you guys don't know Rob McIntyre, he's a strength coach for John Cena. When he was 17, he now works with the WWE for a gym called Hard Knock South.
Yeah.
Get onto that. A lot of guys go there with him, like Sheamus, Drew McIntyre from TNA, Cesaro, EC3. A lot of these go there. Obviously, Cena himself. There's no reason why Roman can't put the time in. I think he needs a bigger physique. So there's number one or number two. He needs a better look, because if he looked like a monster, let's just say if Goldberg now at 50 had a lot of limitations, especially for 50, that dude looks the part, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We're looking at him and we're thinking, top off, he's veined up, he's mean, he still looks as though he can spare the shit out of you. Looks as though he can spare the shit out of you like it was 1997 again.
But this is it, we spoke about this. I remember speaking about this back in the day when we used to go, to the clubbing, week in, week out. Does it matter how much of a physique he's got? Does it matter how good his outfit is, or his body, whatever? If he's got no presence, because we spoke about this. What makes this is a conversation for another video, but what makes is it all about presence? We look at, and okay, Ric Flair could sell his ass off, but he had a presence. He wasn't the biggest guy. He had a presence. The smaller
Rick,
guys.
But don't forget as well, Rick is one of the best promo guys of all time.
Is.
On the mic.
He
we
is.
Can't use these kind of comparables to Roman because I don't know if you saw, Steve Austin did a lot of stuff about him the other day. Now Austin's quite positive about him. Austin thinks that he's going to get better. Steve thinks that the charisma will come and the intensity has already picked up in the ring. Well, like John said, that's fine. But I think maybe the move set needs to be varied a bit. It's like when they talk about John and they used to talk about the 5-6 moves of doom, and they used to rip on John for being green. But Cena always had that charisma and those mic skills off the chain to hide that.
There was always a story with John's moveset though, because back in the day, maybe when John was hot, a lot of other wrestlers had it as well. Like Orton, he'd do the off the rope and then he'd turn. It was almost like choreographed. You knew one was coming after the other, and it was a story, and people would either boo or they'd cheer it. And with Roman, it's not. Well, not just Roman, but these days it's different.
I think the problem that Roman's got as well, was even if he had all of these things, is that it's painfully obvious that the crowd see him and see through the fact that Vince and the powers that be are pushing this guy down our throat. So in fairness to Roman, he could improve, he could be great, but he isn't going to be where he needs to be anytime soon, because this crowd ain't budging, because they see that he's been force fed. They don't want another Cena. And for me, there's only one John Cena, and he's got the nerve, the backbone, and the charisma and the talent to handle that pressure on his very large shoulders. Roman Reigns, however, he's green. He's been in the business like 4 or 5 years. Like Steve Austin said, he could get better, but Cena had to learn and adapt, but he always had that presence, like John said.
Skills.
So in conclusion, I think what we're trying to say here, how does Roman Reigns get better? Tell us, what would you do with him? Where would you put him now? We think turn him heel before WrestleMania. We hear he might go against Taker. Whether that's a good idea or not, people were shitting all over him, eliminating Taker, weren't they? So if he gets the honour to fight Taker at Mania, it's a big honour. That means that Taker's cool with him, and they've got plans. So if he gets Taker's respect, this could be a way forward for him. If he goes heel before he fights Taker, if he makes these little improvements, changes a few things, maybe there is hope for it.
Yeah, this is a little thought that I had with the Taker and Roman thing, because if it's going to get to a point where Taker's going to have one last Mania. So if his last Mania is against Roman, you would think initially he's not going to lose that because it's his last Mania and he wants to go out on a high. But if he loses and it's not clean, and Reigns does the dirty on him, then like you said, that could be a turn.
I think though that even if he had a great Mania showing against Taker, what they need to do is after Fastlane, they need to plant the seed early, and I would roll the fuck out of it, meaning I would get him heel, I would get him nasty, I would change some things up, and I would give him momentum going into Mania to give himself an opportunity to try and win some respect.
It would tease it as well.
Yeah, tease something, because at the moment, if he just shows up, heel or not, he's going to get shit all over. No one's going to accept him based on what he's doing right now. So in conclusion, what we're trying to say is, he needs to change. We know he's given the script, we know he's told what to do, but so was CM Punk, so was John Cena, so was Daniel Bryan. You make it work, you make the best of what you give him. So what we're saying is, he needs to change a few things. They need to be on board if they're serious about him. And I think that as a babyface, he's a lost cause, I'll be honest. I think he could. Steve Austin said he could be a strong heel and then come back to be a good face. Austin still sees babyface potential in him, because it's one of those things, if you get over, if you're so strong as a bad guy, then you have to go good guy, you have to go face, because they cheer you in the end.
Is it heel, face in that order though? Because he's
for
not,
him, I think it has to be.
He's not dressed like a face, is he? He's dressed like a mercenary.
Exactly.
So he either needs to start acting like it, or they have to do something else.
Yeah. So I think if it works and he turns into a good heel and changes some things out, he can come back to the spot where he's at now, or the spot he was at in 2014 at WrestleMania 30 as a babyface in the main event against Brock Lesnar, where he got the shit booed out of him again. So 3 years ago nearly, is nobody learning anything here? They didn't like him 3 years ago, they didn't like him last year, and they don't like him now. So change before it's too late. I think that's all I've got to say about him, really.
Yes, they need to change what they're doing with him, and I think they need the shock factor. Like you said, he needs to turn heel. I mean, they've missed a boat before, so who knows? I just as one last conclusion, one last point actually, not to digress too much, but you know, this guy hasn't got a tip-top physique, as we say, and he hasn't got a presence. And there is one guy I'd like to throw in that I actually think, well, the crowd are burying Roman Reigns, but I always think about Wade Barrett, and I know a lot of people may not agree, but Wade Barrett, okay, he wasn't the biggest, but he was tall, he could speak, and he could be over both ways, and they need to find a way to do that with Reigns, because for me there was no reason why they couldn't have pushed Barrett. Like you say, he's been handpicked, but now they need to do some serious work with him, get him behind the scenes, maybe give him a few more move sets. I'm not going to say teach him how to do a promo, because I'm on the fence of you've either got the promo or you haven't. Maybe get him a speaker.
Heyman, if he's a heel,
you could find another Heyman, but so that pretty much concludes it. He needs change.
So there you go, guys. We're going to wrap this up now. Thanks for watching. What we'll say is that you tell us as well. We're hoping for a lot of feedback on this. Watch this. Tell everybody, share. We've got a lot more content to come.
Maybe you just don't want him to change. Maybe you just want him to go.
I think if it stays like he is, I mean, he's green to the business so far, like Steve said. But if he hasn't changed realistically in the next 2 years, maybe he will be TNA bound or somewhere like that, because the dude at the minute is a babyface.
I mean, that's a conversation for another day. You say TNA bound, let's not make a mistake. We're not shooting on TNA because they brought some.
It's just that's what's been happening.
Yeah, they brought some big talent.
You leave in WWE, you go into TNA. Not always, but you're looking at that as your second option, is what I'm trying to say.
And then he'd be in real trouble because TNA is getting better. So
and Bobby Lashley will have him off and tear him apart. But yeah, thanks for watching. We appreciate it.